You're watching American Women's Soccer on ESPN+. Final night of the regular season here in Greenville, North Carolina. Spooky season's upon us and seeding up for grabs. Peter Parker's in the house. Charlotte, East Carolina. The winner gets a #2 seed in this loaded American tournament. And that means we got costumes and some fun coming up. A 21st all-time meeting and two programs that are always competitive on this gorgeous pre-Halloween night. Thanks for joining us in Johnson Stadium with the former All-American and Brianna Pinto. I'm EvanBudrovich. Pretty simple. Winner of this match gets a #2 seed in the American. Brianna, you've been in these moments as a player. What does it take to do well at the end of the season?
It takes making sure that every player is committed to the process because they're culminating the body of work that they put together over the course of the season, and a win tonight would put them in a great position for the American Conference Tournament.
8 teams qualify for this tournament, and as we sit with 1 day to go, basically 2 through 8 are wide open in the conference. So as we show you the bracket, Memphis is the one. That's been secured. But otherwise, you look at the rest of this bracket, anyone from 2 to 8's open, which means tonight is a fantastic night of soccer.
I just love being in positions like this because every player of the team gets to cheer on one another and put everything to the test, put all of their hard work to prepare for this moment. And ending a game on your home field for ECU or on the road for Charlotte, this is just a wonderful opportunity to prepare themselves for the postseason.
Charlotte was picked 10th. Look at them. It's 2nd overall. East Carolina, the reigning champs. They have some work to do in this last week because here we go tonight. It's basically all for grabs entering this last night of the season. Memphis is the lone team off. So it's pretty simple. If you're Charlotte and ECU, get a big win and some results. You maintain that top 2 spot. But what's also neat is these two teams have faced the final game of the season the last 2 years, so a chance at revenge tonight.
Revenge is always a sweet thing. It gives you something to set your eyes on. So just having that extra motivation is something that keeps these players committed to the process.
Charlotte and East Carolina ready to rock and roll here in a few minutes. A battle for 2nd place in the regular season. We'll be right back with first kick after this. Welcome back to Greenville. Here's the starting 11 for Sunit Byrne, first year at Charlotte. This line was brought to you by Downtown Greenville Partnership. How about Megan Bradley? 7 goals, a big-time contributor up top.
Bradley has been a player that Charlotte has relied on all throughout the season, just so dynamic on that left side, been able to attack and get isolation plays to create goal-scoring opportunities.
And then Harley Head anchors the defense with 8 wins on the year. Isabella Gutierrez spotlighted for the Pirates. Honorable mention, all AAC a week ago, and this club very strong at the midfield position.
Isabella Gutierrez is the workhorse through the midfield. She's provided so many things on the attack, 3 goals and 4 assists on the season. She's been someone that the Pirates have leaned on heavily.
So the 21st all-time meeting's off and running. Last week, Charlotte had the offensive, the defensive, and the goalkeeper of the week. It was their best single week in this new American Conference. 7 goals in the 2 matches, and talking to Sinead Byrne, she noted, we have the transfers to be successful, but playing our best soccer here late in the year.
I think it's a good thing when soccer comes together towards the end of the year, because then you're pushing towards postseason play, and all of the principles that you've talked about leading up to this point are finally coming together. And Coach Sinead Byrne has learned a lot of being in this role and forming this team in the vision that she had for it. And fortunately, they've had so many pieces that have allowed them to execute on the game plan that they've created.
Sinead's Bird program picked 10th in this conference. That would not have qualified for the tournament. Here they are now, 2nd place, control their destiny for 2nd. There's Gutierrez on the first free kick. Easily headed away by the Niners defense. And then a low wrister, dangerous. Nice shot from Juliana Vieira, who just this week was playing for her national team.
That's what an honor for Juliana Vieira to represent her national team, but come back to ECU and have an instant impact with a great shot to that lower right-hand corner. Forces a save, and it goes out for a corner kick.
Vieira on Tuesday, you see right there, played an entire 90, flew back yesterday, got the escort with her teammates as Uber drivers picking her up. A crazy week for Juliana as we hit this home stretch of the season. And now our first whistle, lead official Mark Buda cleaning things up in the box. And we see this a lot in August, September, players in World Cup qualifiers, but this late in the year, what an honor for Juliana to compete for Team Uruguay.
I think playing at any level is really, really neat, especially in the collegiate level. And then being on your national team, playing for your country gives you a greater sense of pride.
So Gutierrez goes on the corner piece, wanting a handball, and play continues. This is not chipped out just yet. And a nice clearance here. Back up to Megan Bradley, 2nd leading goal scorer in the American Conference. Charlotte has been so balanced. Now Bradley has the 7, but Aurora Dominic has 5, Evie Craven has 5, Amelia Brown 3, the senior. A lot of options for Coach Byrne.
I think the fact that they haven't relied on just a singular person has been huge for Charlotte's attack, because it gives their opposition so many players to worry about, especially on that back line when they're making those opposite movements. One's checking him in behind and the other one is dropping low to get on the ball, and that makes a lot of confusion for a back line that they're playing against.
That's why Charlotte, 3+ goals in their last 3 matches. Very dynamic here late in the year. Looks like Mark Buda's cleaning up some things on the pitch before this throw-in. Now we're ready to roll. Ball played down by A.J. Mayock, who had an assist and a huge win over UTSA over the weekend. That helps East Carolina with some tie-breaking scenarios. And we promise no math on ESPN+, but there are a lot of scenarios if these teams end in a draw. A win, it's pretty straightforward.
Always in the booth, we're hoping for lots of goals, keeping it interesting.
As a player, does that come to mind at all? Do you think about scenarios ending a match like this?
I think you definitely talk about it like in practices leading up to the week. You have to know what's on the line and what you need to qualify for good standing in postseason play. I'm actually in that situation now with the North Carolina Courage, but you've got to focus on the game plan and just stick to the principles that your team wants to execute on. And ultimately, it's about how you prepare in the days leading up to the match and making sure that your mentality is correct, because you don't want to look too far ahead, and you have to take every match and treat it the same to ensure that you show up with that competitive mentality that you're going to need throughout the course of regular season and into postseason play as well.
Yeah, good luck this weekend in those pursuit of points against Gotham coming up. We'll keep tabs on that. We could just clip that, send it right to the Courage staff and say, hey, well, we know Brianna's locked in this week.
Well, thank you.
5 minutes in for a Charlotte program that has 8 new transfers in its starting 11. Coach Byrne coming over from Savannah College of Art and Design, won an NAIA national championship last year. Knew they had the winning ingredients with this roster loaded with transfers. Now they click and wins in 4 of their last 5. On a brisk evening in Greenville, a North Carolina 58, which means it's a bit chillier than you'd think if you're watching all across the country. Here's a chip onto the box. Good defending. That's Sophia Serrano, who's played has played every minute for the Pirates this year.
Sophia Serrano has been such an important piece of the Pirates, just her coachability and her willingness to step into that role that she's playing now. Been so good defensively, and then also just the leadership that she adds as well.
Who last year, her season high in minutes was in the NCAA tournament against South Carolina. And Coach Emily Busilis said, hey, we expected her to play more, but we never thought she'd play the Iron Woman season of never coming out. It speaks to the fitness, the toughness, a lot of different elements.
Well, you have to be ready when your name's called, and, being in a position where you're playing underneath another player, you have to remain humble, but you also have to maintain that competitive edge. Just so that you can continue developing underneath that player. And now in that starting role where she's playing significant minutes and being a key fixture in the lineup, she's being called on to lead the group and help will them forward towards significant wins.
Was a big anchor in the Pirates' championship winning squad of the tournament last year. An early turnover here for East Carolina. Last 2 regular seasons pretty one-sided for each squad to close out the year. Charlotte put up a 5 spot against the Pirates, and ECU gets revenge last year in the quarters. Yeah, those scores pretty jarring to end each regular season. Now, we've checked almost every scenario. We don't see one yet where Charlotte and ECU would face in the tournament first round, but it does open a lot of conversation tonight.
I think it's really neat when there's chances to play teams multiple times in one season, because you can see how you grow from one meeting to the next. But these are 2 talented teams who have had their shares of wins and losses and have grown throughout the year. And even Coach Busilis talks about how ECU, even in the losses that they've experienced this year, they're not making the same mistakes. They're taking those losses and making them learning moments so that they are better back down the line in later games.
Yeah, for East Carolina over the weekend, outshot 24-4, and yet with the Mayock goal and the Gutierrez goal, find a way to get out of Texas with a win. Here's Charlotte on the counter with Megan Bradley, the Bolington English product. Not an official senior night for East Carolina, but their final home match, looking to make the most of what could be back-to-back winning seasons. And for Juliana to play 90 full minutes in a highly competitive match Tuesday to then try to repeat that on a Thursday, that speaks to a lot of her fitness, absolutely.
I mean, we talk about the college season and how it's on a condensed schedule with 4 months, so many games that they're playing, and then to add on international play on top of that, you have to have a level of discipline and professionalism about you that enables her to compete at that level and then be prepared to play again tonight. So how she takes care of her body, how she executes on 2 different game plans is also very unique. She's being asked a lot of with her travels, of course, so I think it's wonderful that she's able to manage both.
And this East Carolina staff, so proud of her earning that opportunity as well. She played in August in an exhibition, more of a friendly matchup. Now this was full-on qualifiers. And 10 minutes in, both teams searching for early opportunities here in Greenville. This is Chloe Salisbury, one of the freshman defenders out of Nottingham, England. Nice play by Naroa Dominic to fire a shot that gets deflected. Now East Carolina gets it right back. switching the field well. Now Amy Mason, the Raleigh native, 1v3. Holly Schlegel just outside the box, has it deflected. And good coverage from Harley Head, the first-year starting keeper, who's had quite a journey between Mississippi State, Pepperdine, never fully in the rotation. But here she is, the starting keeper, and second in goals against in this American Conference.
Just what a credit to her, because second in goals against is a really great statistic, and clearly she's taken experiences at those other universities and made it into an opportunity here at this university. And just the fact that she's finally in a starting role and gets to play with confidence is something that's going to benefit her for years to come.
Now, Coach Bird said it's an all-time high, confidence-wise, and much like in hockey, you get a hot goalkeeper come playoff time, it can be very dangerous. Right now, no shots to speak of. 11 minutes in. There's Evie Craven, fresh off a goal over the weekend. Flips it ahead to Reese Black. Black centers. Could this be a moment for Charlotte? Easily deflected. And now Caitlin Starr, Dolan Budrum, who needs to win balls just like that for the Pirates tonight up top, earns the foul.
Coach Bayusela talked about how Dolan Budrum's defensive presence is something that she wanted to see more of out of her. Look how deep she is in this moment, and then is able to start the transition going the other way, earning the foul, allowing ECU to relieve a little bit of pressure in their own half.
And there's Coach Byrne, who not only took over from the interim role, has been excellent. Mike Hill, former athletic director, gave her that title, and ever since moving into this new position, Charlotte's won 4 or 5 matches. We noted her success at the NAIA level. There is certainly an element, even with Gary Higgins from his Division II days at ECU, winning translates to multiple levels.
Well, it ultimately comes down to establishing the culture that you have, and Coach Sinead Byrne talks about, like, she believed that she would be able to turn this into a winning program from the start because she knows what it takes to win. And if you have all the pieces plus the resources on top of that that are going to support the players with their recovery, like their nutrition, everything that they need to be the best players on the field, then with the coaching, the culture, and the expertise that she and her staff bring, it's going to set a program up for success.
That explains why you have a Theragun in your backpack coming in this weekend. All jokes aside, still searching for some early offense here in this first half. Winner of this matchup earns the number 2 seed behind Memphis, who's now in the top 10 nationally. Amy Mason in a 1v1 tussle, gets by Grace Keeley and earns a corner kick for East Carolina.
A good individual effort from Amy Mason just to go at them 1v1. It was actually 1v2 on that left side, but she kind of created something out of nothing, gets a set piece opportunity for ECU, and they'll have a chance to serve the box.
Emily's program in a great spot during that number 2 seed and a winning record in her first year as well. 6-6-4. 2 big results in Texas over the weekend. This is one of ECU's strengths. 3rd in the league, 5 corners per match. Here's Gutierrez sizing one up. Going back post. Good runner on. Well defended but not cleared. Still a loose scrum. Budrum has it deflected. And a corner on a second ball won by the Pirates.
It's a great bit of service there from Gutierrez. It's very clear that ECU is looking to target that backside with a late runner. Vieira was making that run, trying to get her head on it and connect, but it was ultimately blocked. Dolan Budrum gets on the ball inside the box, looks to have a shot, but it's redirected out for a corner kick.
Great defending by Rachel Logue on that back post, prevented a header on. Now another whistle. Now set for the Pirates' 3rd corner of the night. Here's Gutierrez. Middle of the box. Mason can't get ahead on it. And a bicycle clearance. A second ball well won by Amelia Brown, the senior defender at a carry. But a turnover. Gutierrez on target. An early test for Harley Head.
I really don't mind that look from Gutierrez, just to shoot from outside the box, because all the numbers are trying to clear the box. There's a little bit of chaos as Charlotte is trying to get ahead, but just a great strike. Harley Head makes a good save, pretty comfortable, but again, for ECU to build momentum in a game like this, they have to get shots up and put pressure on Charlotte's back line.
That's a shot that Kat Rader at Duke in her All-American year last year would just rifle from 25, 30 yards out.
Because a lot of times the opposition isn't expecting it. Maybe they're thinking that they're going to recycle the ball and get to the flank again so that they can serve in the ball from a different angle, but a shot keeps the opposition honest.
So 15 minutes in, the first real chance for either club. Here's Gutierrez leading the counter for the Pirates. Isabella, 3 goals, 4 assists, scored a fantastic 40-yard strike at almost midfield in that UTSA win. And you can just tell how much of the ball plays through her in the middle, organizing the attack.
Well, you can see her positioning off the ball. She's always in a pocket so she can turn and change the point.
Schlegel with a miss hit, but earning the corner. Pardon me, just to throw, to not go fully out. Now the creativity of these scallywags tonight, the Halloween costumes on full display.
See, I think college students are incredibly resourceful, and they make something out of nothing and try to keep things fun. So the fact that they're out here on a cold night cheering on their fellow Pirates is a great thing to see.
A little trick-or-treating tomorrow and a battle for second place tonight. I have an Egyptian costume for tomorrow night. You can just dress as yourself.
I could. I will be dressed as an NC Curse player at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, with practice. Oh, no doubt. What was your favorite Halloween costume growing up? What did you like wearing?
I built a vending machine when I was probably 11. I thought it was really fun because I got to paint the box, and then I would stuff food and snacks and of course candy
put
in
some
it.
Chips in there, yeah, live it up.
Trick or treat.
Man, Brianna Pinto at 11 was a smart cookie. Ooh, and the backup goalkeeper there, Michaela Wetzel, took the worst of that one.
I wonder if she has her gloves on.
No, looks like she got hit in the chest, unfortunately. Let's watch this again. Hey, Michaela. Oh, yep. That's an old stinger on a cold night.
You can still see because she's still down. That never feels good, because for anyone who's never played soccer before, when you get hit with a soccer ball in the cold weather, not only does it leave a ball print, but it leaves a lasting impression like, please relieve me from this weather. It burns.
Yeah, she's not wearing those goalkeeper sweats either. That is full on skin to skin. She's a tough cookie though. Charlotte struggling to maintain possession on this third of the field. Now back on the boot of Grace Keeley. Good ball touch from Keeley. And she'll earn a corner here for Charlotte, first of the match. Although Vieira can't believe it.
Just a good bit of sustained attack, a little bit of combination play here from Charlotte. It's Keeley that tries to get in behind with a long touch that was a half attempt to shoot. Again, it gets blocked, and here they are with a corner kick.
A quick corner that earns a second. Olivia Dietrich, the undersized, but has stepped up in the last 3 matches. This ECU staff love how she plays the ball in the air. Might get tested here on a set piece. Again, going short. Great deke. Still loose. Stays alive for Craven. ECU forced to punch it wide. And finally out. Here's some sustained moments for the Niners. But that pass a bit heavy from Brown. And as we look around the league, remember the standings are all clogged up. Tulsa with a win could usurp Rice, and Rice is right there tied with ECU in the points. Basically just keep your channel ready because the points are wide open 2 through 8 right now.
I think that what makes conference play so exciting, because when there's so many teams that are in so close in points, it allows the fans to be excited because you've seen the matchups over the course of the season. You've seen how certain teams have grown and other teams have fallen off, and it'll be cool to see how everything shakes out by the time for the tournament.
The good news for these two programs, you win, it's fairly straightforward. If you result in a draw, at least for East Carolina, things get tricky. Charlotte could drop no lower than the 3rd seed with a draw. And there's a foul giving Charlotte possession. There is one match late tonight. North Texas plays at 8, so not everything's set in stone by the time we end here in Greenville.
We need some decision day, game times.
Yeah, we need to talk to our friends at ESPN Plus and slop these all up at the same start time. Great call. Here's Rory Brown, one of the freshman defenders, teeing it up. This stays alive here for Dominic. Good outlet. Salisbury. Back post bending ball. Good idea, just a bit long of her target. We've started to see her the last 5 minutes, more offensive creativity from Charlotte.
Yeah, I really like that footwork from Dominic over on the right-hand corner. You could see like a sole roll and then a cut back to reserve the ball. They looked to exploit that back post, but there wasn't a runner there.
Great bit of tracking here from the strong goal scorer Megan Bradley, who almost wins it back. And we just showed you those standings. 6 teams within 3 points with a day to go. That's about as perfect. You draw it up if you like chaos. Last year it was East Carolina. The 3rd seed won the tournament. Memphis had won the previous 3 conference titles, and they're the favorite again this year. Star Budrovich shoots one long for Amy Mason.
Just well read by Salisbury.
You see the surrender Cobras there on the clearance from Naroa Dominic. Put her hands right over her head. It's been a battle. Who can keep possession in the middle of the pitch tonight?
You can hear Amelia Brown screaming to get the ball so that they can change the point of attack, because ECU's done a good job of pressuring the ball, especially when it's on one side of the field, and they're bringing their weak side numbers over to help condense the space.
Charlotte, who played Memphis about as close as anybody in the American has, only lost 1-0. That's one of their 2 blemishes in the league. And ECU points in 2 of its last 3 matches to move up into this 5th spot. So far, nothing cooking through 25 minutes.
Just a late challenge right there. Catches the ankle.
An early yellow in this first half. Oh no, a red card. Oh wow.
Here, this was a bit reckless. You could see controls the ball, then looks to get the pass off, and
very late on the tackle.
Ankle is completely clattered.
Now let's see if Mark Buda, what card he pulled. He had the red initially. And he's going to downgrade it to a yellow.
It was Laura Kate Westerbeek, who's on the receiving end of such a dangerous challenge.
That's AJ Mayock getting an early yellow in this first half. Keep in mind, if she acquires a red tonight, she'd be out for the first round of the playoffs.
I think this was downgraded because you could see that it was sort of a 50-50 ball with the long touch from Westerbeek, but because Westerbeek was able to get her foot there first and play the pass, and then the late challenge, it still was dangerous because it was a sliding effort, and obviously she makes contact on the ankle.
The Raleigh native senior, thankfully, is okay. And now a short clearance to resume play. Two in-state rivals that have met back-to-back years in the conference tournament. A turnover this time. A long run for Amy Mason.
Just a really good sliding tackle just to end that play.
Rachel Logue has been everywhere on the pitch tonight, especially on that back four.
Rachel Logue has been really doing a great job just covering in behind everyone and making sure that she's shifting accordingly to read the passes in behind, because you're seeing some of the combinations from the attackers on ECU start to come alive. But again, we saw another shot from distance. Harley Head has no trouble.
Neat for Logue, so her and her twin sister, Megan, they both played at Central Michigan. There was a coaching change. One went to New Hampshire, one went to Charlotte. So the twins are separated.
I think it's good, like forging your own path and figuring out how you operate without the sibling, but I think it is cool to have the opportunity to play together. I'm sure they still trade messages about how the seasons are going and what they're learning from their different experiences.
3 years together. Now they're doing grad school separately, which is fun to see them both pursue grad degrees. Isabella Gutierrez crossing the 20 career start mark tonight. And really offside on Charlotte. As we get ready for our first substitute of the night. Ball flicked on. Great clearance from Salisbury. It does concede a throw.
Gutierrez sends in a ball, lofted ball, and it's headed over the top, but Salisbury does a good job just to read it and immediately clear the ball, because otherwise they would have been in the path of danger.
Salisbury, who turns 19 next week. She's got a dog named Eric that lives with her on campus. Really big fan of her puppy.
It's a big responsibility.
Especially with these 4.5-hour bus rides that Charlotte's got the last couple of days. Hopefully she's got good roommates. My wife actually had a dog in college. Black Lab. He's still with us today, little 11-year-old Remy.
11-year-old Remy.
Thankfully she had sorority sisters and a pack of friends to help out.
Dogs are so special because they just enhance the college experience when you get to bring them on a nice day on campus. All your friends are out on the lawn, especially on a spring day.
Oh my gosh, yeah, let them roam around, have some fun.
A spring day on a college campus in North Carolina is a special, special thing.
Checking on Dominic, who got tripped up a second ago. Low scoring first half. UTSA has defeated Temple tonight, so the Roadrunners could slide into the top 4. Temple just 3 points on the season. They're eliminated after this week. Here's a ricochet and a foul on the Pirates. Amy Mason sliding in to Salisbury.
Just a little bit of an errant pass that was quite frankly a hospital ball, because the angle of this pass sets teammate up for a dangerous tackle.
Yeah, thankfully Mason kind of slowed up before her legs maybe took out Salisbury here.
You can see slow roller. Mason trying to anticipate this pass and close in on it. Ruled a foul.
The Vuvuzelas have joined the party here on ESPN Plus. Final game here at Johnson Stadium. You see the slight confusion there for Harley Head, trying to find an avenue with ECU pressing.
I think the key to success in this game is who really takes control of the midfield, because there have been ebbs and flows for each team, but they have really got to do a better job for both teams just establishing a rhythm and getting their players on the ball. But I think the movement off the ball for both teams has been stagnant at times. And when you shorten the distances of those passes, then you can create those quicker combinations so that you can advance the ball forward.
An ECU club that's very comfortable defending with its two back lines. We told you we're outshot by 20 against UTSA, but found the result. And a Charlotte team had scored 7 goals last week. 4 players on the all-conference team. 2 starkly different styles that have contrasted in a low first half of opportunities. There's Megan Bradley, who's been all over the field in the last 2 weeks. 3 goals in that stretch. Coach Byrne, love how she's been such a good team player, even with her high scoring. The 5 assists have mixed in. That's what you need this time of year from elite strikers.
She was characterized as a complete player because her work rate on both sides of the ball is second to none, and just how she creates goal scoring opportunities for herself and the technical proficiency she has that she does it with makes her a really special player to watch.
Here's a strong challenge, and the Pirates win it back. Well, we haven't said Megan Bradley's name a ton tonight. ECU's kept her corralled.
When you go long stretches without getting on the ball consistently, I would love to see Bradley check back into the midfield just to get on the ball a little bit more, see if she can get in those half spaces on the half turn so that she can receive the ball facing forward and then run at the defense and see if she can find passes in behind. Just another super physical collision.
Yeah, it sets the tone of this match. We've already seen a couple confrontations with Mason. And now a turnover. Dominic finds Bradley this time. On an island. Plays it through Reese Black. Again, Mason steps in front of a tricky pass.
Back to what I said earlier, the distances that they're trying to pass over have created a lot of turnovers for Charlotte. So again, if they can just shorten the distance of their passes and have better movement off the ball to make more obvious people to play to, I think they'll benefit.
And a result in the goal kick. Amy Mason come forward a ton tonight from her defending midfield position.
Amy Mason has been incredibly aggressive, but that's exactly what she's asked to do in this left-handed position. She's outside back, sort of midfield role, and the way she's reading the passing lane and trying to time her pressure really makes her dangerous because she's disrupted a lot here on this left side.
Yeah, it's sort of shifted to a 3-4-3, and Mason has been very active on that left side. We noted Charlotte ready to make a sub. ECU warming up some substitutes as well, maybe in that first half window.
With just under 12 and a half minutes left to play, I do think substitutions will inject a little bit more life into the game for both teams.
Here's Bradley looking to find some individual brilliance. Her pass gets disrupted. Olivia Dietrich, the Houston grad transfer. She, of course, gave up the 5 goals against Memphis, but many of those weren't on her. Has been excellent in her final 3 matches.
It seems that Charlotte is trying to rest a little bit in possession, but I think it would be better if they change the point of attack, which is a quicker tempo, because when it's slow and methodical, then ECU has plenty of time to shift their defense and no spaces will open up because of it.
Yeah, much to be desired in this first half. Just 3 shots on target, all 3 for the Pirates early. Dolan Budrum wanted the whistle. Play continues. And now Charlotte on the counter, not able to make much of it. Dolan Budrum slowly up to her feet. Back to Mason. ECU mounting some numbers forward through Vieira, who just played 90 minutes on Tuesday for her national team. Centers it. There's a good connecting ball, just a bit heavy.
Good sequence there by AJ Mayock, really getting involved in that midfield, but wasn't able to make that final pass. But again, the more that ECU can get her involved in the ball, where she's getting it, playing it, moving to the next space, and then looking for that final pass with the correct weight and texture, I think she'll be dangerous in the midfield for ECU.
Schlegel made a nice run, just not on the exact same page, but you see a little bit of connectivity. There's Evie Craven, fresh off a 4-point week. Now promising ball forward. Some space to work with here for Reese Black. Look at the numbers committed back defensively for the Pirates. Now a full 10 in front of the keeper here within 30 yards. Ball headed in the wrong spot. Dangerous second ball, just wide.
This is an opportunity that you can't waste, because even though it was probably 2 seconds, that is a lifetime for a striker. And this is a chance that you have to hit on the top half of the ball to keep it under the bar. So as it bounces, you've got to catch the timing right and hit it down into the ground and just get it on frame, because that one-touch attempt is going to leave very little time for Olivia Dietrich to react.
And that's Megan Bradley, who's been excellent scoring in close situations. She'd love that one back with 8 minutes to play. Bradley, a 4-goal scorer for the Ragin' Cajuns last year at Louisiana, comes in via the portal and now is one of the top scorers in this American Conference with another player down. That's McKenna Gregory, who just checked in. A Jacksonville product.
Just ruled a foul, mistimed header by Logue, just coming in behind. This, again, relieves a little bit of pressure for East Carolina. They're able to get their numbers higher up the field and see if they can sustain a little bit of a better attack.
Gutierrez flips one on. Header won by the Niners. Not down yet with Molly Thomas into the match. Back post for Emma Sheehan, another substitute. So some fresh legs here. The Seton Hall transfer, Sheehan coming on. And a booming clearance. Both teams trading possession inside of 7 minutes on a loaded night in American Conference play. Seeds 2 through 8 are wide open with one match to play. Memphis, the 1, has the night off, and they gear up for a Monday turnaround as the top seed.
Salisbury just done a really good job just advancing the ball on this right side, and Again, she's trying to show a lot with her movement off the ball to recreate the width. And here she is receiving it with a chance to go V1. Ends up being an incomplete pass, but for Salisbury, if she can look to create some combinations on that flank, perhaps so she can get in behind and serve the box.
Yeah, she's been a spark here in this first half for Charlotte, who has the one major chance from Bradley. Now a clearance here for Olivia Dietrich, playing her final home match of the regular season, nearing 30 career starts between Houston and here at East Carolina. Gutierrez looks to chip one on and hits the back heel of Sheehan.
Even though she's been called for a couple of fouls, I'm really liking the energy and effort that Amy Mason is bringing to this game. Just before it hit off the heel, higher up the field, you could see her challenging for that 50-50 ball off of the initial kick.
Sheehan picks off a poor pass. Now heads towards the 18. Sends it wide to Gregory. McKenna with a low roller. Not much on that one. Here's Mason flipping one on. Easy work for Harley Head.
Just a poor clearance to Amy Mason, who looks to have a shot from distance, but again, it wasn't much of a challenge for Harley Head.
Forcing Mason to her knees here. Now Keeley gets a deflection. So all these shots from long distance making easy plays for the keepers in the first half.
I'd love to see some more sophisticated runs off the back shoulder of some of these defenders. So for Megan Bradley, she's a player that can make those L runs. So maybe she's coming from a wide position and then running along the line to find space in behind. But that requires Charlotte to have their midfielders closer to their front line so that the pass isn't too long, because getting the proper texture on a final pass over a long distance is a hard thing to do. So just working on the timing of the run and the pass is going to be huge for Charlotte as they close out the first half.
I love your description of a texture of a pass. It's a beautiful way to describe it.
Yeah, I think it's a hard skill to develop, because you have to think about not only the angle, but the speed that your teammate's running. You have to think about the foot that you're passing it to. And then if you need to lift it a little bit to avoid a defender that's trying to intercept it. So there's a lot that goes into it, but when you learn the tendencies of the players that you're playing with, you can have a better sense of how to play the ball to them where they'll receive it and be successful.
Nearing the 3-minute mark, Maddie Milliron has just come in, the Hickory Ridge native, senior defender for the Pirates. And this ball gets booted into the neighborhood, which we learned this week. When the ball goes over there, it is property of the business owners and the households back there. There's the dangerous Megan Bradley, who can join her on this counter. 2.5 minutes to play. Charlotte resettles. One back by the new insertion, Milliron. Now Gregory with some space. Her first goal was against FAU just a few weeks back in conference play. Switching the field to space, wanting Lily Ridge. Just a bit long. That has been part of the story this first half, some mistimed connections. Now Penelope Rich, who's just checked in. Gutierrez got stepped on. So here's Charlotte with numbers. Salisbury chips it forward. And now this becomes a dangerous spot at the top of the box. Black spinning for her life. Final minute of this first half. Here's Amelia Brown.
Pirates are doing a good job just putting so many players in the direct goal channel, creating a lot of traffic for Charlotte to navigate through.
That was 3 swings and misses to clear the ball out, so Charlotte keeps it. And now a boot. Nicely won. And then Bradley
seems to have come from an offside position just to check on the backside of the defender. Chests it down, but ultimately ruled offside.
Good catch. My ankle got a little blinded there of the line judge. I'm glad you're on that, Brianna. Good eyes. Closing seconds of this first half. One quality chance for each club in the opening 45, but that's it. And we'll go to the halftime break, all scoreless in a battle for second place in the American as both teams feeling each other out through 45.
Yeah, I feel like it was fairly evenly matched in this first half. Each team had a chance, but they've got to generate more in the attack by getting more numbers around each other in close proximity so that they can have more combinations to create better scoring opportunities.
We'll be back for our halftime report on ESPN Plus just a couple of minutes. Charlotte, East Carolina, 0-0 through 45. We got plenty to discuss in the American Conference when we come back.
Servire means to serve. To us, it means more. It means to champion success. Not just for students, but for a community, for a city, for a region, for the greater good. It means championing you as you strive to answer the questions that matter. Not just who can I be, but how can I help? Servire, to serve means more at East Carolina University.
This is where success is earned, never given. Where character and grit break the status quo, and competition drives ambition. Ignited by innovation, united by mission, bold in service. It is set in stone. One footprint, 15 world-class institutions, one conference. This is the American, built to rise.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribalpiece. I'm trying to give you a little bit of variety on this week's top plays, so we feature some offense, some defense, and 3 different sports. Let's take a look. We're always talking about that Navy offense, Blake Horvath, Eli Heidenreich, Alex Teska. So how about we highlight the Navy defense? That is Coleman Colley coming up with the interception for the midshipmen. Let's head over to the soccer pitch. Charlotte and Tulsa. 49ers up by 1. Reese Black boots that ball to the back of the net. Here's some more soccer. Philippe Sabati in goal for Memphis. Hits that ball away. He says, "Not today." Play number 2 comes from Tulsa. Baylor Hayes at quarterback for the Golden Hurricane. He is a favorite target by the name of Brody Foley. Here he is, hitting him again. Foley keeping 1 foot in and makes the catch. Byron Brown is one of the best quarterbacks in the American for a reason. South Florida and Memphis. Number 17, there he goes, breaking a tackle, and then, he hurdles a defender, takes this ball to the end zone for a touchdown. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag #AmericanTopPlays on social. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
The difference is scale. The difference is momentum. The difference is opportunity, energy, innovation, community, and results. This isn't a typical university. It's Charlotte. Of the 3 top 75 public research universities in North Carolina, only one powers its fastest growing city. The difference is Charlotte.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal-Peace. Every week, the American Conference honors the top performers in volleyball, men's soccer, women's soccer, and football in our weekly segment of American's Best. Here's what we have for you this week. The Offensive Player of the Week in football is North Texas's Drew Mestemaker. Mestemaker broke the American and North Texas records for passing yards in a game with 608 as the Mean Green defeated Charlotte 54-20 on Friday night. The redshirt freshman was 37 of 49 on the night with 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. His 608 yards marked the highest this season in the FBS and is the 17th highest in FBS history. The men's soccer Offensive Player of the Week is UAB's Lucas Rizzo. Rizzo helped the Blazers overcome a 2-goal deficit to finish in a draw against Florida Atlantic, earning a brace with goals in the 70th and 82nd minute. Volleyball's Freshman of the Week is Florida Atlantic's Kirsten Bevel. Bevel helped guide the Owls to wins over Memphis and UAB, averaging 4.07 points per set while hitting .356 on the week. The women's soccer goalkeeper of the week is Temple's Tamsin Bino. Bino recorded 7 saves and a 1-0 shutout of UAB on Thursday, the first conference win for the Owls since 2021. For more on the American's weekly awards, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
Welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina. A little pre-Halloween treat on this Thursday night. No goals so far, as both clubs search for a critical 3 points in the last week of the regular season. Thank you for joining us here on ESPN+. Brianna Pinto, EvanBudrovich. Well, so far, both teams searching for early chances. How do we find more offense in the second half?
I think it comes down to the movement off the ball and making sure that they're in close proximity so they can get the combination played to have more quality shots, because they've been from distance for both teams and neither goalkeeper has had any trouble.
Yeah, feisty first half as well. A couple of big plays for yellow cards and some battles in the box. And as we roll into this first half highlights, it's unique because ECU had a lot of the possession, but then Charlotte late in the half created some opportunities.
Well, ECU has just done a good job of making sure that they're trying to commit numbers forward, especially with the hold-up play from Budrovich. But on Charlotte's, on the other end, they've had a lot of their attack going through Megan Bradley. She actually had a chance in this first half that she probably should have put away. But again, we're seeing lots of shots from long range, and they've just got to do a better job of getting closer and making sure that they have enough numbers to unbalance the back line.
AJ Mayock doing a lot of the facilitating for the Pirates in the first half, and here's the best chance of the match.
Yeah, but you can see just the ball bounces right here, and it's Megan Bradley, hits it on the underside of the ball, sends it well over the bar. But I just like the way that Charlotte tried to test the back line by sending it over and got a lucky bounce. And again, that's an opportunity that a player of her quality wants to put away.
Yeah, 7 goals for Bradley this year. These stats are brought to you by the Greenville-Pitt County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Pretty even in shots, but right now neither team really creating shots on target just yet.
So I think it just comes down to how they're striking the ball and making sure that they're also crashing the box, because you never know if a goalkeeper's going to bobble it.
Those are those first half stats. We're coming up on 45 minutes to decide who's the second seed in the American. Where things get tricky in the conference, if there's a draw in this match, kind of becomes scoreboard watching for points. UTSA, they're now in the thick of things with a nice win over Temple. Look at that. Big result from Tulsa in terms of standings. And then that South Florida match is important. They're 3 points back of East Carolina. So a scoreless first half could add some controversy if things get going in the second half. But here in this match, Brown, it's pretty simple. The winner gets the 2 seed, and if you're Charlotte, this result will at least keep you within the top 3.
I think it's really important because you get to control your own destiny. So you know what you need to put yourself in a good position for seeding for the tournament, and both teams are looking for a result tonight.
And with that top 8 looming, Memphis, the reigning champs, they've easily secured 25. So these are the latest point totals with the UTSA win. You see them at 15, Tulsa just won as well, so 15 points. Really now, if you're East Carolina, this becomes sort of a need a win result as well, not just a draw to maintain that top 3 spot.
But East Carolina has the benefit because they are on their home field. They've got their home fans cheering them on, and this is their last standing at home before they look to pursue the conference tournament.
Now, East Carolina would win the 3-way tiebreaker with Tulsa and UTSA. Then you start going through the math scenarios and the tiebreakers of here and there. But for Charlotte, pretty simple as well. Get a point, get a result. You're in a great spot to avoid Memphis in that first or second round. And we told you South Florida and Florida Atlantic are playing right now, still searching for some early points. But what an important result for a South Florida team that has struggled this year given their traditional status as a top 2 or 3 program.
Well, Florida Atlantic is looking to disrupt because they're already eliminated from qualifying, so it's playing for pride and making sure that they can close out the season on a positive note.
We got the TikTok dancers on the left, and we got some competitive soccer on the right. I love when these kids can have fun. It's so stressful this time of year. Midterm season, playoff season, and all that being said, a highly competitive, physical first half of soccer here at Johnson Stadium.
A little bit of strategizing before the second half kickoff. I think ECU's definitely wanting to inject a little bit more energy and intensity into the second half so that they can just get their attackers more involved.
Do you guys ever crack jokes in those huddles, or is it all, all strategy?
Of course. Smiles, laughs, encouragement. There's also a little bit of accountability, like it has to be better from certain players. So I'm curious to see which leaders are stepping up and demanding more from their teams.
Top goal scorers Caitlin Starr, Dolan Budrovich, and Megan Bradley both held in check in those opening 45 minutes. Following a week where Evie Craven went off, had 3 goals last week for Charlotte. Very balanced. Coach Sinead Bird loved how her team's been playing entering this matchup. And the dancing still continues before the start of the second half.
I think dancing keeps you warm, keeps you lively and energetic, and it's a great way for just the players on the bench just to share belief from the sidelines in their teammates to continue fighting through this second half.
So here's Race Black to kick off the second half on a chilly Thursday night. A little precursor to trick-or-treating tomorrow. And then both teams take flight Saturday down to Florida for the big conference tournament. Some discussion here with Juliana Vieira about where her equipment is positioned. Mark Buda didn't like something. Looks like her shin guards are in. Well, that's a new one. And we get the second half started.
A little bit of
and a false
deception.
Start. Yeah. They cannot move until the ball moves. Now we begin the second half. The fun of live television. A first half where Charlotte picked up momentum in the closing 10 minutes. A couple of chances late, including the huge shot for Megan Bradley that sailed over the crossbar. Now Grace Keeley out of the break has her pass deflected. Dolan Budrovich, who missed the Memphis match due to a red card, has been a steady piece the last two, returning to the lineup. Ball to stay on side for Ella Steck, who gets minutes to start the half and an early cross towards target.
Ella Steck is a really interesting player because she's got great acceleration, and when she's able to have a little bit of a deception to push the ball by her defender and then get past them and then also cut them off when she's dribbling, I think that will be a great way for her to get isolation on this right-hand flank and then get involved in the attack inside the 18-yard box.
Some fresh legs for Steck, who played a near full 90 minutes against North Texas in early October, kind of her coming out party in the lineup. Dolan Budrovich was offside. ECU staff noting her ability to absorb pressure in this matchup would be huge, the way Charlotte plays on the ball. They survived a barrage of shots on Sunday against UTSA, but in this matchup it's been more about who can maintain possession.
I think the possession starts with those 50-50 balls because we're seeing a lot of long-range kicks that are landing in that midfield range, and there's a little bit of a scramble from both teams to be first to the first and second balls, and whoever can control those more consistently and then find their open player in the open space so that they can relieve that pressure, they're going to do better with controlling the tempo of the game, because as we saw in the first half, there were ebbs and flows for either team, but nobody really established dominance throughout that midfield.
And to your point, settling for a lot of long-distance shots. You have matches like this for both clubs who are searching for possession. Then you have closing matchups like Stanford-Cal, where the Cardinal have 8 goals tonight against Cal. The top scoring team in the country is ready for the ACC tournament. They'll go in as the #1 seed with Notre Dame and Chukwu right behind them. And nothing better than hosting all the way to the Final Four, the College Cup. That's a great position to be in.
Hosting is the best thing you can ask for because it just gives you just competitive advantage as you look to push further into that postseason play. And it's also just cool to see your support system like behind you in that postseason play, because you need every bit of energy, encouragement, belief behind the group to make sure that your team goes as far as they desire.
With the tournament just 2 weeks away, getting started with first round coverage. There's a great ball in the box. A wide shot on the turn from Alyssa Tucker, who's shown a nice spark in the last 5 matches, getting her first minutes tonight.
Just a good ball behind. I like that move just to try and shift her hips and see if she could get something on it. Ends up being a goal kick, and Charlotte is headed the other way.
Dangerous clearance. Mayock able to win it, but not out. Dominic, second leading goal scorer for the Niners, out wide. And not much on that chance 5 minutes in.
Again, these are one of those long-range shots that hasn't led to much of anything for either team. I think this is just an opportunity just to let the play continue to develop. Can she bait the shot, touch it by, and then drive towards the end line, and then look for a cutback pass towards the trailing runners?
A quick word in this suddenly chippy matchup.
I wouldn't be surprised if this game becomes increasingly more chippy as the second half progresses, because again, both teams are looking for 3 points tonight to put them in good positioning for the conference tournament. So they're going to be scrapping for those 50-50 balls and challenging strongly on tackles.
Chloe Salisbury, who's come forward a ton, played some nice balls, has her pass cleared out. Keep in mind, Juliana Vieira played the full 90 Tuesday. She's played every minute tonight. See how her legs hold up in this second half. ECU wins the ball with Dolan Budrum, but have yet to muster much of possession in this attacking third. They give it right back. The dangerous Megan Bradley. Great touch. Earns an advantage whistle. And now it could be a yellow here.
A valiant effort for Megan Bradley just to get her touch in behind. You could see that she was trying to keep her feet because she would have been off to the races. But again, this is a good position to be fouled in because Charlotte will have the opportunity to serve the box. But I just like how she anticipates this play, goes over the head. And Megan Bradley is the one that touches it by.
Yeah, that put Gia Spinetti in an awkward spot. Had to just flail her body in front. Gives up the yellow. Second yellow for the Pirates tonight. And look at this glorious opportunity. Noroa Dominic, the Spanish product. Division II transfer, Oklahoma Wesleyan, has been great in her first year. Coming over from Jacksonville State as well. Critical free kick for Dominic. Shanks it.
To be honest, that was very wasteful. I think everything about it was not beneficial to the team for Charlotte. This is an opportunity where you want to hit that back post because as it goes across the face of the goal, it at least keeps it alive and anybody can scramble for it, and it forces ECU to then defend their own box. But when you shank the ball over the goal and not even give your team a chance, it makes it very difficult to build momentum in the second half as Charlotte looks to capitalize on attacking opportunities.
Yeah, pin that moment down as a coulda, shoulda, woulda moment for the 49ers, who have been excellent scoring in their last two matches. 7 goals last week. Have not had the same quality tonight. And then to your point, if you're East Carolina, you get inside of 10 minutes, knowing 3 points are critical for your team, how philosophies change later in the second half?
Well, for ECU, they really haven't been put under much pressure at all. Haven't conceded any shots in the second half. So I think for them, can they commit more numbers forward and just make sure that their counter measures underneath the ball are satisfactory? So that means making sure that they're up 1 number for the attackers left high for Charlotte, and then pressing the rest of their numbers forward to get numbers around the ball, but also win it back in the event that they do lose it, because the best time to win the ball back when you concede possession is within the first 5 seconds. So getting numbers higher up in the attack is going to be key for ECU.
You see Holly Schlegel communicating with the referees. She wants a delay warning. She's begging the referee to call something. Now the throw in. And a quick push. Ten minutes into this second half, much the same as we saw in the first half. Each team trading possession freely. Vieira makes a strong run. We
saw Vieira get a little bit higher up, but I'd actually love to see her be inverted a little bit more in the second half because she's got such great quality on the ball with her ability to pass out of the left side, but also her abilities on the dribble. So if she inverts a little bit more and then another player recreates the width, it will unbalance Charlotte's midfield and hopefully for East Carolina create more opportunities for them to play those dangerous balls to the next line.
Now coming to this near side with Ella Steck, who checked in to start the second half. Gets away from Penelope Rich. Here's Steck pressing forward and earning a corner for the Pirates. Good run on the ball.
This is a good individual effort. You could see the Meg, a little bit of deception. And then we see this acceleration that we talked about. I think here she sees nothing, so she earns the corner kick. But in the event that she could cut it back, stand on the ball, and then go at her again, I think that would be a great opportunity to drive towards that end line.
And there's Isabella Gutierrez setting this up. Had 3 corners in the first 10 minutes of the first half. Now her opening corner of the second. Middle of the box.
Just completely mistimed by Dolan Budrum. You could see that she was the target for that corner kick, but she was unable to redirect it back across the frame. Going the other way for Charlotte, I would love to see Amelia Brown get on the ball a little bit more in that pocket. She's occupying that space right on top of their back line, and she's going to be the key pivot to just start their build and change the point. But also defensively, she's got to plug the passing lines and make sure that she picks up a lot of ball recoveries.
Yeah, here's Steck back with it. Earned that corner a few moments ago. Gutierrez switches the field. Now the Pirates with the running Vieira. A little bit more of what you're speaking on. Earn a throw this time.
Vieira can be the connector that ECU has been missing throughout the course of this match. So the more she gets higher up the field, you can see that combination play with Amy Mason.
Dolan Budrum wins it back. There's a shot. Just a bit high for Schlegel. Found a seam there and created a nice look.
I think Schlegel has been someone who's been highly involved, just trying to create more for her team. You could see just a desire for a greater intensity when we talked about the time wasting on that throw-in a few minutes ago.
No, and truly hustling to win that ball where it's just sitting in the middle of the box like that. Great point.
So you can feel her hunger just to get on the board for her team tonight, because she knows what's at stake as well.
Yeah, East Carolina with a win. They earned the number 2 seed. Charlotte with a draw would remain top 3, but some things would unfold the rest of the night with points. Now East Carolina with a loss, then it starts to get complicated with how scores have already unfolded tonight. They'd most likely be in the bottom third of the standings, and then the road to a final would be very difficult as the reigning champs. Playing to Reese Black, who looks like she's swimming in that jersey, but has played effective in the midfield. I almost wonder, is that a personal preference, or does someone wearing 10 last year just be a little taller?
I actually can relate. I wear a Giant jersey as well. I like to feel like I can breathe, especially in the hot summer months in North Carolina.
Oh, especially how much of the NWSL is in the summer, no doubt.
It is miserable in August, so I can definitely relate, because when you have the big jersey, it allows you to breathe.
Now inside the box, good chip on. A second ball is deflected. And Gutierrez gets rid of that one. Well, there was some better connecting play for Charlotte, but couldn't capitalize. Dolan Budrum 1v6. Tried to give Ella Steck something to chase towards, and that was well defended. Tulsa's big 4-0 win over Rice. The standings get uber complicated. Tulsa, UTSA, ECU, Rice all within 1 point. Right in the middle, 3 through 7. And South Florida with the win. If they beat Florida Atlantic tonight, things get even more complicated. When you get the emails that are 2 pages long with scenarios, that's when you know things get fun this time of year.
Just a whole lot of movement just to look forward to. There's so many quality games on today that impact all of the standings.
Bradley finds Dominic. Good defending by Gutierrez, the senior captain in the middle. A long ball searching for Bradley. Now Keeley comes forward. Good ball ahead. There's Bradley centering. Dominic with a shot, and the second one's through. Perseverance from the senior. And Charlotte's finally on the board in the second half.
That play starts with Bradley, who wins the initial ball, knocks it down. She gets involved on this right-hand flank and then gets it back again, drives a little bit to beat her defender, and then plays that early service. It's Naroa Dominic who's on the receiving end of it, and just the physicality just to scramble for the ball ultimately puts it away, giving Charlotte the 1-0 lead. 29 minutes left to play.
Her first goal since the Rice match on October 9th, and a timely 6th goal. We talked about it. Basically 70 minutes. Neither team could maintain opportunities, get shots, but it's a second ball for the senior Naroa Dominic. Critical here for Charlotte.
Those are their 2 leading goal scorers for the Niners that were involved in that play. Just the hustle and the energy and looking to connect with one another. I think when Megan Bradley's not near the box, then Dominic does such a good job just filling those dangerous spaces.
And she beat Dietrich to the ball as they started playing loose inside the 6. How many times this late in the year do we see individual brilliance become vital? And that's huge for Charlotte. How does this change the philosophy now for East Carolina, where you've played comfortable in a scoreless game, now you're chasing a goal late?
They're definitely going to have to play with a greater sense of urgency and also commit more numbers forward, because they have to get a result out of tonight if they want to be in a position that's going to set them up for success in the conference tournament. Because as we said earlier, there's going to be a lot of movement with the results from the matches today. So ECU has to do just a better job of pressuring in the midfield so they can create more opportunities, especially in transition, because we saw Dolan Budrum win the ball in midfield, driving forward, but has nobody to play it to, was 1v6. So can they have more numbers that support their attack quicker off the ball?
Minute by minute, ECU would be the 6th seed right now, but there's a lot of soccer to play tonight and across the league. Here's Dolan Budrum.
But once again, it's 2v6. And that's a moment where Dolan Budrum's trying to advance the ball, but also keep it and give her teammates enough time to match her speed as she moves forward. But again, well done by Dolan Budrum to draw a foul. It's in prime position to serve the box. They'll be looking right around that PK spot towards the back post, because if they can get someone with a head on it or anybody to redirect it on the goal, it'll be very difficult for Charlotte to clear their own box.
5 assists this year for Caitlin Starr, the London, England product. Charlotte scores at the 60-minute mark. Now East Carolina with a chance on this set piece. Dolan Budrum for target, and that is right at the keeper. Not much of a test for Harley Head.
Dolan Budrum is their leading scorer, but I think this is a better moment just because of the distance, just to serve the box. And honestly, I'd have someone like Gutierrez maybe serve that ball in, because Dolan Budrum can then be closer to the goal to see if she can get on the end of it.
We've seen both clubs, Charlotte and East Carolina, not perfectly capitalize on quality set pieces. And now Charlotte takes advantage of a turnover on this end of the field. These are the live standings. As you see, ECU would get into a tie-breaking scenario with Rice, lose it on goal differential. So they score 2 goals, they go up to second. They sit in this spot, they'll play Charlotte again. And here I thought there wasn't a scenario those two teams could face. Oh, how the world turns. And then worth noting, South Florida would own the tiebreaker over East Carolina, so they could actually go to 8th, but there's still 25 minutes here. Evie Craven on this end, turns to her left, and a feisty save by Dietrich to preserve the 1-0 score.
Evie Craven does almost everything right. I love the way she takes the touches it across her body just to open her hips, and she's looking towards that back post, because the way the ball is curving forces a save out of Dietrich, and the angle of the shot is always working back onto the frame of the goal, because if she shoots that with her right foot across the frame, it's going to be in the path of the goalkeeper, and then also probably being tailing off of the frame of the goal.
Here's Reese Black on the corner. Going back post, headed in. A neutralizing ball, it's not out yet. Charlotte mounting possession, and another corner here in the second half.
This is a big moment defensively for East Carolina to defend their box and make sure that they secure possession, because Charlotte has the game in their control at the moment and can do a lot just to slow down the pace of the game and take their chances when they are presented to attack the box.
A short corner this time. That stays alive. Brown off her body. Amelia wins it in the air. Takes 8 different defenders to stop it, and then a clearance that just recycles. Still alive for Rich, and she goes wide with 5 substitutes ready to enter for both squads. Here they come.
I think these substitutes will play a critical role for East Carolina in just finding their rhythm again, because they seem to be a little bit rattled within the last few minutes as Charlotte took the lead. So the substitutions will be important just for re-energizing the team, injecting a little bit of belief, getting comfortable on the ball, and establishing a rhythm again.
Emma Sheehan anchors that quadruple substitution. Also, Molly Thomas comes on. There's Lily Ridge, who also re-enters. And ECU wins the throw. And yet there's Sophia Serrano out there, who's yet to exit all season, the senior defender. And while it is a little more common at the defending role than as an attacker, it's incredible, her work rate. A tough clearance here for Dietrich. Now a tussle. It turns more into a brawl. And a throw the other way, right in front of the Scallywags.
A little bit of a clap from Amelia Brown, encouraging her teammate with this scuffle between Dolan Budrum.
Yeah, Mark Buder's letting them play a little bit too, which is important.
Yeah, this is a chippiness that we expected to see as the minutes dwindle for the second half.
At what point does East Carolina commit more numbers forward, trying to create an opportunity? Thomas now on the ball. She has a couple of assists here in conference play. Vieira wins it back. Gutierrez now Her pass deflected. Great ball. Dominic on it. And now both teams having discussions with Mark Buda about some possible handballs.
I think this is going to be really important for Mark Buda just to control this game, because both teams are going to be competing and scrapping for every ball. That's Dominic that has a little bit of a jersey tug. You can hear Dietrich screaming at her team just to get higher up and really challenge for this ball that she's about to send forward.
As you see, has the leg strength to do it. Good flick on. "20 minutes to play in the regular season. If results hold, Charlotte the 2 seed behind Memphis in the conference. East Carolina could drop as low as 8th tonight. They needed a point here late.
I think when Dolan Budrum is trying to hold up the ball, the other players just have to make sure that they present an option, because a lot of times with a player with her strength, there's a tendency to just watch her do her magic and hope that she gets out of pressure.
She was hoping to earn a penalty in the box, but nothing coming. A header could create a challenge. Wisely cleared by Rachel Logue.
With 19 and a half minutes left to play, I think ECU is going to be very direct, sending a lot of balls in behind and forcing Charlotte's back line to drop and step accordingly. With those runs off those back shoulder, it's going to make sure that they have to be on the same page so that a player isn't left onside.
You spoke about players with individual brilliance and players kind of running off them and playing through them. I think so much of Jamise Joseph at NC State when she was an electric flyer. Years when you can find your teammates around you to complement that great player. Here's Charlotte earning more chances in the box. Already up a goal, searching for another delightful finish. Spinetti plays it back to the keeper. AC Dietrich demanding her teammates to push up the pitch a little bit here.
She can take her time in space now that she's the ball in her hands and can put it to her feet. And she has a big kick that allows ECU to advance very quickly up the field.
Charlotte starting to press these passing lanes. Dolan Budrum staying onside. Dolan Budrum fires. Not much on that shot. Great bit of defending from the keeper.
Dolan Budrum wanted it on her favored left foot. She opened her hips just at the last moment to see if she could get a shot off. A great ball in behind. It's misjudged by the back line, but this would be a great opportunity for her to bait the touch and then see if she could cut back across her body and roll it into the net. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, but I think that's a moment where you have to get a shot off and see if you can get it on frame, because all those opportunities have been very infrequent for ECU.
Yeah, the shot total is a little misleading in terms of chances on target. Just 2 or 3 for the Pirates tonight. Charlotte has found its opportunities here in the second half. Yeah, 5 total shots on goal, but not many threatening. And now the Niners will bring in Landry Olsen, the Toledo transfer. She played 20 minutes off the bench last match. Back into Megan Bradley's boot. Bradley wins it back. And now it becomes a clock game for East Carolina, 16 minutes to go.
You have to think about game management for Charlotte. With 60 minutes left to play, Charlotte's definitely going to start slowing down the game and taking their time of, when they're going to attack and how quickly they're going to get the ball in play for throw-ins, and also be a little bit more conservative with their numbers underneath the ball defensively.
Exhibit A right here.
But game management is so important, especially as you move into postseason play, because once you take the lead, how do you protect it?
She needs Burns Club. Picked 10th in the preseason. They are clicking here late in American play. Could finish second if results hold, be a 10-win campaign. And a great ball that stays in. And Charlotte forced to touch that.
It was Rory Brown that puts it out of play, just ends it just to be safe, and it allows Charlotte just to get reset underneath the ball.
Rory's sister, Dempsey, plays at Wake Forest. They're in the midst of an ACC battle tonight. All the regular seasons across the country ending this week with tournament play right around the corner. Here's Bailey Manfredi, who just came in, the Greenville, South Carolina native. Beautiful ball for Bradley. And Dietrich's there just in the nick of time.
You can see the frustration on Megan Bradley's face, wanting to put that away, but just an excellent bit of goalkeeping. But how about this pass in behind from Bailey Manfredi? I think this is a really brave moment for both Dietrich and Megan Bradley, because they're closing in on a ball where they're unsure if they're going to collide, but Dietrich knows she has to come up big and get something on the ball. Ends up being a foul going the other way.
First-year starting keeper, Olivia Dietrich, keeping the Pirates in this match. We were not cleared for play just yet. But the clock's running. Mark Buda, though, has to signal ready for play. So that takes another 30 seconds off the clock. Gutierrez goes out wide. Sheehan looks to turn it. Now Thomas. Sheehan begging for it. Vieira punches one in. Dolabudrum on target. Interesting one-timer.
I like this effort from Dolan Budrovich just to try and hit it first time, but I do think she has space to her left to bring it down to her preferred left foot and see if she can get an even better shot on goal. But, I mean, the pass from Vieira perfectly weighted the direction of the ball. The trajectory was right into the path of Dolan Budrum to hit it first time.
Yeah, those half volleys are so challenging, especially as you're backpedaling in the box, just trying to get any bit of oomph on it.
But I'd be curious to see a tactical change, because as we mentioned, Vieira is the one who sends in the best ball. So can they move her higher up the field, put somebody else on the back line, just to unlock a little bit more of that direct play for East Carolina with 12 minutes left to play?
A second half goal for Noroa Dominic. Big difference maker, her 6th of the year. And now some pressure coming forward for the Pirates. Charlotte uncracks the riddle very well. Was there a touch here? No, it is a goal kick.
ECU plays a deep bench. I would see some substitutions here soon and then go into a high press just to force some turnovers. We're seeing another substitution coming on right now. Ella Steck returns back to the field She's going to be someone who's going to be looking to get on the dribble and get in behind.
1 goal, 1 assist for Steck. She played some good minutes. Charlotte gets it right back as we're inside of 12 to go. Now a run down the far flank. A centering ball into space. Steck just a step late. Smart defending.
Just a really dangerous ball across the back line. It's bending almost into the path of Steck, who's making that late run.
Rachel Logue there to clear it. And a goal kick earned with 10 minutes to play. Five goals, 5 assists for Caitlin Starr. Yet tonight, just a couple of chances, and those coming here in the second half.
Harley Heads keeps repositioning the ball for this goal kick. It allows Charlotte the time just to get their numbers up.
And this whole timing mechanism is kind of on the hands of Mark Buda as he sees fit. If the clock needs to stop, he'll do it. Otherwise, play continues. Bradley very wisely not rushing into this possession, trying to earn a corner, which she will.
Just another strong tackle from ECU. That's number 14, Maddie Milliron. When Megan Bradley gets the ball, you have to end the play, because as soon as she enters the box, that's when she gains control and she can start to slow her feet and figure out how she wants to beat you off the dribble, because if you stab defensively and foul her, it's a penalty kick. So ending the play early is in the best interest of ECU's defenders.
Inside of 10 minutes, big corner kick coming. A second ball gets flung in the box and now cleared out. Playing it right back in towards Gutierrez. ECU with a tricky ball. Here's Sheehan, but she was offside out in front of the defender.
I think Sheehan could do a better job, because in that moment she was on the back shoulder of both defenders, can see the whole line. She's got to make sure she's timing that, because Dolan Boudrum puts herself in a great position, turns and looks to play directly in behind. So if Dolan Boudrum's low, Sheehan has to hold her positioning, make sure that her timing is correct so that she can run in behind and execute on that space that Charlotte is leaving.
So South Florida has just taken a lead over Florida Atlantic. So here's the latest standings. You see how goal differential becomes so important. Look at Memphis, plus 24 goals in the conference. They put up 5 on ECU a few weeks back.
I mean, Memphis is having a spectacular season, finding so many different ways to score and then sustaining that over the course of the entire season. They're the team to watch out for in the American Conference.
Including 3 results against SEC opponents this year. That's why Memphis in the top 5 in the country in the coaches poll. They'll be well on their way to a top 8 national seed, assuming they win out in the conference tournament.
Pirate fans are very upset at the fact that Charlotte is running so much time off the clock. But to me, this is very good. And
that ball was touched in play. It was a live ball.
It has to make one full rotation to be considered in play, and they did just that, and protecting it in that right-hand corner of the field.
And there you go. Very smart, aware of the time and the circumstance. And ECU has had no possession in the opposite third since giving up the goal. Charlotte very wisely here, using body position to win the ball back. Now Gutierrez punts it. The header gets flicked on.
I think dropping Dolan Boudrum a little bit lower into the midfield just to be the connector is huge for ECU, because she's looking for that last pass into Sheehan, who's offering the stretch, but in this last moment they were unable to connect.
And the clock game is working well in Charlotte's favor. Wins in 4 or 5 matches. And now if you're ECU, you're 6 minutes away from possibly facing Memphis in the first round, which is not a favorable draw. You need to find a result here. 6 minutes left. And 2 substitutes come on for the Pirates, including A.J. Mayock, who's got some goal scoring potential. Game winner against UTSA. Well, hold on a second here. Now ECU would be the 7 seed. I love these back and forths. Final 4-minute goal for Florida Atlantic. That could be an interesting element to the night. Florida Atlantic, who's been eliminated from the tournament but could play spoiler, at least for a moment.
A.J. Mayock and Amy Mason just checked back into the game, and those are 2 players for East Carolina who I'd want in the game because they're driving up the intensity defensively and trying to do their best to get into the attack, which we saw earlier in the game. So in the dying moments of this second half, those are the players that the coaching staff is going to say, find a way to change it. Find a way to impact the game, even with 5 minutes left to play.
Good back heel flick. Here's Mason. Mason's ball deflected. And the Pirates have not won the second ball much tonight. Now a long clearance as that clock starts ticking. North Texas, who does play UAB tonight, would need some help to stay alive with that 1-1 result down in Tampa.
I think in this moment, ECU should just work the line instead of playing a 50-50 ball into pressure. Play it to the first open player, change the point to relieve pressure, and then see if you can build the attack, because serving it to someone's head who may not be able to hold it up or control the ball is a losing proposition with 4 minutes left to play.
And now the ball goes out of play, and they don't have an extra one available.
See if you could get it in quickly.
That's a smart fan base.
Playing it to A.J. Mayock, who's right there, would be much more helpful.
Right back to the keeper. Late touch. You see the effort there of Ellis Steck to cause trouble.
But you could see just the ball sent in behind. Ellis Steck is doing everything to try and intercept this pass.
And there's Harley Head. Well on her way to another shutout. Would be a 4th on the year with 3 minutes left.
Just another really good bit of defense from Rachel Logue. Did a great job throughout this match, stepping in aggressively, clearing the back line of any danger, covering for her teammates, just maintaining the intensity that Charlotte needed for a 1-0 lead with just over 2.5 minutes left to play.
And one sub comes on for Charlotte here late. Grace Keeley, who's been huge in the defense or the midfield in the first half. Final minute in Tampa. Oh, wow, and South Florida has flipped the script again. Here's Charlotte late with Megan Bradley playing to the corner flag. And just when we thought it might be a rematch of the 2-7, ECU might drop to the 8 seed now unless they can manufacture something in the closing 2. How about Fataj Genetina in the closing 2 minutes for South Florida? Incredible.
I think that's what's so cool about the final day of conference play, where everyone's scrambling for a result, even if you're not in contention to make the tournament, finding a way to disrupt. So I think that's a really fun matchup between South Florida and Florida Atlantic, and then the other match as well.
And now the clock stops with 1.5 minutes to go. Yeah, we saw Tulsa upset Rice 4-0 on its home turf, kind of shaking the standings in the middle of the league. And here's Charlotte on the way to a number 2 seed with the next 90 seconds. Now, inside a minute, we have some where to throw the ball in controversy.
For reference, the player is supposed to be where the assistant referee is located on that sideline. They're the point of reference of where the ball has gone out.
And more importantly, that clock just keeps ticking inside of a minute. A throw-in awarded to Charlotte. And no rush to start play. This would be the first 10-win season for Charlotte in 6 years. Well earned here late. 3 straight wins and have controlled play in the second half. And now one last dying moment here for Olivia Dietrich. The Pirates on the verge of dropping to the 8th seed tonight. Need a miracle inside of 20 seconds. Dietrich goes short. Not much on that ball on time. Might run out.
You can see dancing on the sideline for Charlotte. Really, really excited to secure that number 2 seed.
As the closing seconds wind down in Greenville. How about Charlotte picked 10th in the preseason? And Coach Burns' club, a dangerous number 2 seed. Heading down to Florida this week for the conference tournament, beating their in-state rivals 1-0 in this defensive-minded second half.
Coach Sinead Byrne talked about staying together through adversity, and Charlotte did just that. They did enough to secure a victory tonight. It defended well. They closed spaces, and then they capitalized on the opportunity that they created from their 2 leading goal scorers in Megan Bradley with the assist and Naroa Dominic with the goal.
That was a feisty goal in the second half as well. Charlotte now with Memphis as the top 2 teams, and East Carolina. These are the live tables because of point differential. They'll have to face a top 5 team in the country, and Memphis coming up on Monday. All those matchups to be determined, timing and everything on ESPN+, but man, the last day of the regular season, always some fun stuff. Here's how we got to this point for Coach Bird. First year coming from SCAD down in Savannah. Has drastically exceeded expectations. And here's our match summary brought to you by the Greenville-Pitt County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Final home match of the season for the Pirates, and Charlotte with plenty of opportunities in that second half.
Yeah, Charlotte did a good job just to continue pushing forward in that second half. It was very evenly matched in that first half, but whatever was said at halftime, they found their way, were a little bit more aggressive, and they leaned on the 2 people who have done it all season to create goal-scoring opportunities, and it was Dominic that puts it away. But on the other end, how about Harley Head with 6 saves on the night?
So Charlotte beats its in-state rival, 21st all-time meeting. I was always told never to double down on 21, but this matchup's been pretty good. Busy weekend here in Greenville. Halloween volleyball continues across the league, but now the playoffs on tap. Monday, American Conference Tournament off and running. A little preview tonight here on ESPN+. For Brianna Pinto, Kyle Gaskins, our whole crew, thanks for watching all season here for ECU Women's Soccer. Conference Tournament begins Monday. I'm EvanBudrovich. We'll see you there. Both teams heading to the postseason on ESPN.